how about the favors that Rick Perry does for the people that give him the money? Now, does he do those favors? That's a good question, right? So, now, I have collected this from a number of different articles, the New York Times, Politico, and I am giving you only 2 articles, basically, that these examples are coming from. In fact, I have read 6 or 7 different articles with a whole heap of other examples. For the sake of brevity, otherwise it would take all day to tell you about Rick Perry's corruption. I've just boiled it down to 5 different donors, what they give Rick Perry and what do they get in return. Let's start with the New York Times. They talk about this guy named John McHale, and he was a Democratic guy for most of his time until he met Rick Perry. He gave him $50,000 and lo and behold, his company, G-Con, which is, I think, a fairly appropriate name there, got $3 million that they conned out of the good folks of Texas. How do you like that for the free market? And of course, when asked about things like this, they say it was a wild coincidence that McHale happened to give $50,000 and his company happened to get $3 million, I should say, from the people of Texas because of a decision made by Rick Perry's government. Just a wild coincidence. By the way, other people who have investments in G-Con also gave tens of thousands of dollars to Rick Perry as well. Then we go to example number 2, and that is David Shanahan. He also has a significant stake in G-Con, but he also has a even bigger stake. He's the founder and president of Gradalis. He gives $15,000 in 2 different donations, and will you look at that? He gets $1.75 million for Gradalis, $3 million for G-Con. Can you see why they buy our politicians? It's the best investment you can make. You give a nickel and a dime to these crooks, and they take state money and give it right back to you, okay? And they give it to you in many, many fold. We can't continue. You think these are just some small examples? It's totally systemic. This is what Rick Perry does. We go to Bob Perry. He is his biggest donor. $2 million he's given to Rick Perry. They're not related. So why did he give him the money? Well, it turns out that there were these massive lawsuits from homeowners who wanted to sue contractors for faulty construction, right? And turns out Bob Perry has a huge home construction business. He does not like those lawsuits. They would cost them millions upon millions of dollars. What does Rick Perry do for him? He appoints a commission to slow down those lawsuits, and then the commission just happens to think later, those lawsuits, they're not very meritorious. We should really put the brakes on them. Bob Perry saves millions upon millions of dollars. Another good investment, okay? So what he got was a slowdown of those lawsuits against him personally and against his company, okay? Great investment. So there it is, limiting lawsuits for faulty construction. All right, now we go to Phil Adams. Phil Adams is a guy who gave Rick Perry $290,000 on top of all the bonuses he throws in, like going to the Big 12 basketball tournament in 2007. Now, what Perry does for Adams is he puts him on the Texas A&M Board of Regents, which also gets him a lot of money, but that's not good enough. So he thinks, hey, you know what? Your company, Terabon Incorporated, why don't I just give you $2.75 million from the Texas Emerging Technology Fund? Anybody who gives to Rick Perry gets huge gobs of cash later, including James Leininger, who is also one of his top donors and has also given him a great number of things, including hunting trips, Spurs tickets, and that famous trip to the Bahamas, where he did scuba diving and golf. And what did he get in return? He gets appointed to the Texas Board of Health, but again, more importantly, the Emerging Technology Fund of Texas, run by Rick Perry, gives his company $1.75 million. So, as you can see here, if you buy Rick Perry will deliver for you. This is sick, man. This is a perversion of our democracy, and this is how these politicians get to live it up, go to the Bahamas, go to Vegas, go to Madrid, and they do it on their donors' dimes, but then the donors get a great return on investment, so who actually pays the bills? The people of Texas.